Alright, that's Jupiter. Of course, that's the moon. You see those two to the right? That's Gemini. That's the two heads of Gemini. So, that's the two pillars. That's the number 11. That's behind that right there is the current. There's a stream that those motherfucking demons have came in through. Right there. And now we're going to talk about some other shit. Alright, what you were looking at is Gemini. That's the twins, which would be the pillars. You're looking at Jupiter below, and then you're looking at the moon. Okay? Those are orbs. They're lights. They're also being. What we're talking about absorbing. Okay, these plants down here and everything that has life is supposed to absorb that. See, the moon's forces controls all the fluids down here. Mercury rules all the metals, every one of them. Because whenever Mercury, long story short, came into existence, all the metals were like water at one time, before everything eventually solidified, which is a very long topic, but we don't have time to get into that. So, and then when we're looking at Gemini, we're looking at the cell salts. Kali myrrh. Gemini is the ruler of Kali myrrh when it comes to your anatomy. You've got 12 systems of the anatomy. There's 12 constellations. There's 12 cell salts. Kali phos is the potassium phosphate, is the brain fluid. That's the number 1 because you're alkalinic. Okay? So alkaline, since you're alkalinic, in the middle of alkaline is Kali phos, that you do not have a clue about. That those orbs up there vibrate in our blood and our cells, and they generate more power. But if you do not have the right material inside of you, then this does the opposite. Now, we're going to reread something and talk about absorbing. You blatantly see those are lights. They're lights. So if they're lights and then they produce all that out there together, that's harmony. You understand what I'm saying? That's true harmony out there in nature. That's what those lights create. That's exactly what they create. Because they're absorbing the way that they're supposed to be absorbed, the life down here. These humans now absorb this. This is the light every day to their pineal gland, along with these fake lights in their houses and all the wires in their walls and all that shit. It's all black magic. Okay? This gets into the optic nerve. The same way that up there is going to run through you and charge you. That out there will charge you into, we'll use nice words, into being nice, into being very caring and lovely. And this turns you into a demon that says, don't listen to him. We go to the biggest church in the cities. It's not real. Let me explain something to you right now. Anything that we absorb, it goes with us. Now, you need to think about that. For example, you looking at the moon, Jupiter, and Gemini. Okay, you need to think about the human beings that have gone through this lifetime, this physical life, and that never looked up. because they were distracted here to keep their eyes down and to be glued to images, black magic, to guide them and to influence their thoughts, their thinking, their cleverness, their Arianism into a materialistic mind, to an exterior being, to where has it been proven? Anytime you go through Google or anything and it says, it blatantly says that, contrary to belief, they're wrong. They're always saying wrong, wrong, wrong. So an impression that these goy have, they're absorbing all that, which is black magic. So it creates them. It creates, when I'm going to write a script out into a cartoon and I'm a black path magician, then I give it to these dummies. And then they put it into the channels, into the screens, and it channels into them, and it creates this Ahriman for us. The same way that the moon, Jupiter, and Gemini, if you even look at it through the screen, you'll get some of those forces, even though it's imitation, that you've never seen, which are good. So, reason being is this man has tried to open even some of the one's eyes around him, around where he lives, showed them certain information. They know the truth. They know the truth about where we are in everything, except the other side. They know all about the geocentric and herbs and all this and that. But when you talk about soul and spirit, they'll quickly tell you they can't get our soul and spirit. And you're like, and these are the same ones that'll get up and grab their phones and run all day. Look, my suggestion is I don't watch TV. If I do, it's something that I would see with my eyes, physically. You understand? I haven't seen commercials in years. Very few, from being in and out of places and people's houses and stuff, but I walk away. If you're watching a movie, block your eyes for the preview because it's an introduction, inducting into the Hall of Fame, introduction, it's entering. So what we're going to do is talk about this one paragraph again, and then we're going to do an inventory we'll break down the word absorb, because absorbing something, what's the last word of absorb? Look, orb, right there. So very important. So orb absorbs orbs. So we're going to read this again, this one paragraph, and then we'll break it down. And it says, so our environment over there is determined by whether or not we absorb spiritual concepts here. Whether you like it or not, AI is a spiritual concept, which is fucking demons. It's demons. It's to harvest souls. Spirit's been gone. Just go into the Fourth Council of the Vatican, to where they said image replaces everything. Image. So they threw images of Jesus up everywhere until we get to here not too long ago, until the brands popped up and Jesus was replaced with other images, which are brands, logos, which are demons. Demons. It has to be said with much pity that many of those who have resisted or been prevented from absorbing spiritual concepts here during life find themselves wandering about on the earth even when they are dead, for they remain bound up with the earthly sphere. And once the human soul is no longer separated from its surroundings by a body that would prevent it from acting in a destructive way, this human soul becomes a focus of destruction within the earthly sphere. It's the whole concept of each human being I'm not human. I'm not a label. No, are you? You're not a symbol or a letter. Listen, you fucking don't you ever say that. They upload 50,000 hours of screen black magic written by black path magicians, conditioned for centuries too. Strong black fucking magic in order to harvest the soul for generations and to constantly be clever on transitioning the thought pattern, the blood to engineer the blood into the screens to where when we send impulses through that, it hits the optic nerve and then sends signals all through the anatomy. And we control that human being. They're not real. If we take away all the gadgets right now, everybody would go crazy and fucking jump off cliffs. They would, because it's demons. Demon impulses are in everybody. That's why they won't listen. Listen, this man has tried to help people around him and say, look, you need to learn X, Y, and Z. We need to quit. You need to quit doing this, and we need to do this. And they say we can do whatever we want to do because they think their money and what they've done is right, even though black path magicians were in a board fucking meeting, hypothetically, writing out people's lives, the bloodlines. You know, we create bloodlines. You want me to tell you some fucked up shit that we gave him some information? 90% of the population now, especially in America and everywhere, they have fucking it's all incestual. You don't have a fucking clue. This thing that we can see is the opposite power of the sun that you would see, giving life to all the life here. So when you see all that life come up in spring everywhere, that kind of power, but more. And the name, if you want it, is Sorat, Sorat. And on the 10th tarot, you have the Wheel of Fortune, which is Tora, Torah, but you just add an S in there, and there's Sorat, right there. The 15th card is the devil because 15 is a fucking demon number. It has to be said that this is quite a normal situation under today's conditions. Souls who enter the spiritual world after death, having wanted to know absolutely nothing about spiritual concepts and feelings, become focuses of destruction because they are detained in the earthly sphere. Only those souls who have already here been filled with a degree of connection with the spiritual world pass through the gate of death in such a way that they are taken up in the spiritual world in the right way and removed from the earthly sphere. They can spin the threads in the right way. They link them with those who have remained behind, threads which are continually spun. We must not forget that the spiritual threads linking the dead souls with those of us here who have been connected with them are not sundered by death. They remain and even become much more intimate after death than they were here. What I have been describing must be accepted as a serious and important truth. Real quick, let me say this. Okay, when we do go, okay, the embryonic stages are not taught to you in the schools because then you would be taught about the other side and what's going to sort of happen. We can give you the embryonic stage from the very beginning of existence because that's what it is. There's 9 spheres and there's 9 fucking months. But the same way that once a baby takes their first breath, once you cross over, the baby, has to slowly become aware, of its surroundings. And that's sort of what will be happening to us. I don't want to get into that shit right now. Okay, so we've got a palm right here. This is big. This is big. A palm tree. Okay, so I'm going to ask you something. See, the world you're in is already here. People might have these in their yards or whatever, but they go by them. They don't know that this is actually a group soul conscience being that controls every one of these. They don't, there's, and when you recognize that and you know that, when you go, you will be with this. This being will help you. In the world of the goy over here, they'll tell you Matt is fucking crazy. He is insane because they're demons. So all they do is go, hey, Giggle. They don't touch it. They don't watch it. Like if you're in cold season, bring it in, pay attention, care for it, love it. They don't have that. And if they do, it's for image. They don't have it. And all that goes with you. But they'll tell you, no, he's crazy. We just go to heaven. That's a demon. The impulses tells you this. So looking at this is an imitation of this. This is black magic. This is white magic. Here's in between, which is all the goy, which are here anyways. And then when they die, everything that's in here that goes into here, them disregarding this being right here. In this magnetic field and these perfect geometrical patterns that they've ignored, and they have gave everything to these pixels in here, and it generates their cells and it gives them all these emotions, and which is not fucking real. None of it's real. It's black magic. And then when this host dies, when they go across their ether body real quick, when like a sheath sheds, there's demons over there that cannot incarnate here in physical form that inherit the fucking cavity of that sheath that has certain ingredients in it that were uploaded through this by design so they can get these ones that can't incarnate to their lodges to where the dead are, to where they can summon knowledge and then incorporate it more into this fucking realm that we're going into. All this is created for all the souls to be thrown into to where they'll miss the last 3 stages of true evolution, which you do not have a clue about. That's the whole reason AI was created, was to enslave the souls. And until need be, they're going to keep them at bay. They'll miss the entire evolution, true evolution. So that's like an impulse. That's an impulse. Everybody has Hardee's and Burger Kings and McDonald's. Everybody does. And Taco Bells. As a child, you grow into that. Okay, when you control a certain section, all sections or whatever, and you're ready to create something like towns and cities, you already have the ingredients there. You just set the people up. Okay, we're taught to read. Let me tell you, as a demon, you're taught to read. We teach you how to read in numbers and math in order to deal with the banking mainly, to add up just that little bit. That's it. And then to read the signs in our commercials, in our flash bullshit black magic everywhere, to keep you enslaved in a black magic word system. Okay? Before he goes, real quick, we'll just show you yet again with satanic gematria. Because remember, we don't look at anything else. None of the influences are showing you pictures or videos of anything. They're just saying, they're showing you a fucking symbol board going, this is the zodiac. Or geocentric. Here's what the Earth does. This is it. And it's like, these goy are fucking dumb. That's still black magic. Do you not see the Ahriman in these influencers? Ahriman's clever. He wants recognition. He's going to put all his fucking headsets on and get all ready for a prison, a demontation, a demonstration. Demons. They're not out there saying they're bringing demons in through this shit up here. That's exactly what they're doing. They're not giving you the magnetic currents on Earth and the true belts, the belt around your torso, the toroidal field. the English spirit is a demon, because over us right now in the past century or so, there's been a fucking line that's open, the unseen that you can't see. I can though. So easy. So I'll just give you two again. We'll just give you two again. Look. Black magic words is 666. Ahriman Sciences is 666. We can give you probably 500 666 terms and agreements. Where is that book? Let's see. Aleister Crowley Departing Ritual. Lesser Banishing Ritual. What it's called a license to depart in black magic. When you're done, you grant the demons a license to depart and to be obedient and to stay at bay until they're called forth again for another summoning. You're summoned to court because you're dead. You go to the license department and get a picture ID, which is nothing for on the other side, and you obey a system. The ones against us are the motherfucking demons. The whole thing is set up as black magic. The whole structure from head to toe is the darkest fucking black magic that's ever been in physical form, and it is going to get way worse. I don't even like thinking about, like, they give it to you in their shows. They give it to you in all their bullshit. But people, they're so dumb. They're so ignorant. They're so dumb. They're going to get a coffee with Lucky Charms in them right now, making $300,000 a year for some AI bullshit company. It's not real. If it was real, then half the world would be like, yep, y'all can have the AI. We'll just keep doing this. No. The end result is a one soul demon, Ahrimanic, fuck you, scorched earth, fucking deep abyss, destructive forever, ever and ever. All those souls. And eventually they'll all go across. When they get it all of it merged together and connected, no one's going to think for themselves. They're going to be uploaded with certain emotions, just like how they upload their people they're going to sacrifice. They upload them, and then on the numbers, they take them out, and then there's a fucking Black Path magician on the other side ready to harvest, just like a fucking factory. It's not hard, man. It's not hard. These human beings are not real. They can't even fucking look up. They can't, even the ones who have truth are like, nope, they can't get us. It's like they have a 5-minute mind. This path, you got to throw all the old life away. And you got to fight through the day. Even when Ahriman is saying, this is stupid, just go back to being a dummy. Fight it. Give your life to nature. Give your life to looking up. Give your life to the circuits. I told you a long time ago, the books can be shed like a snake skin. But the books are there in a way to unlock what's inside of you, even though it's all black magic. The printing press, right when it came out, that's why, tons of books were produced to spread all the fucking the lies and to get generations and centuries of fake universities and fake learning centers to set the materialism up for the incarnation of Ahriman. Seriously. I love you.